This is a test: the gruesome tale of Joseph Roy Metheny, the cannibal killer. My name is Joseph Roy Metheny. In 1996, at the age of 41, I was arrested. But before delving into my crimes, let me take you back to my childhood and the events that transformed me from Joseph, the gentle giant, into a notorious cannibal. I was born on March 2, 1955, in Baltimore, Maryland, into a modest family of 8. My father struggled to maintain a decent standard of living for us. At the tender age of 6, I lost my father. My mother did everything she could to hold us together. As I grew older, I became the target of relentless bullying due to my weight, earning nicknames like Fat Boy and Teddy Bear. By that time, I weighed 450 pounds. At 18, I enlisted in the army. After my service, I decided to distance myself from my family. I took a job at a burger restaurant and spent my nights in abandoned houses or under bridges, indulging in drugs in the Patapsco area. Eventually, I left the restaurant and became a truck driver, earning the moniker, the Gentle Giant. During this time, I met my wife, and we bonded over our shared addiction, often using drugs under the very bridge where we first met. We married within a month, and I named our son Roy after my father, who was my role model. Life seemed to be on track as I continued my job as a truck driver, which often required me to be away for 2 days at a time. One day, I returned home to find it empty. My wife had left with our 6-year-old son. Overwhelmed by rage, I searched everywhere, even under the bridge where we used to meet. I discovered that she had run off with her lover and their drug-addicted friends. When I lost hope, a new chapter of my life began, a chapter soaked in blood. It was when I was 30 that I found myself face to face with 2 men who were involved with my wife. They refused to tell me where she was, and in a fit of fury, I killed them both with an iron axe. As I finished, I noticed a man by the river who had witnessed the murders. He became my 3rd victim, drowned in the river. My bloodlust was far from sated. I lured 2 women, who had been indulging in drugs with me, to their doom. I attacked and killed them with the same axe, disposing of their bodies in the river. 5 murders in 7 hours, and yet, I managed to evade capture initially. Despite my efforts to conceal the evidence, I was eventually arrested in 1995. After an 18-month trial, I was released due to insufficient evidence. During my time in custody, I conceived a new, more sinister method to kill and dispose of my victims. Upon my release, I began targeting sex workers. One night, I encountered a woman who resembled my wife. Her name was Kathy, and she had a friend. I frequented a Mexican restaurant with them, building their trust. Eventually, I lured them to my trailer under the pretense of using drugs. When Kathy resisted my advances, I stabbed her multiple times in the face, neck, and chest. She tried to escape, but I delivered a fatal blow to her neck. I dismembered their bodies, storing parts in my freezer and burying the remains in various locations in the woods. Financial difficulties led me to a gruesome solution. I bought a mobile barbecue unit, mixing the flesh of Kathy and Kimberly with pork and spices, serving the concoction as delicious burgers. My business thrived, and I gained numerous unsuspecting customers. As my supply of meat dwindled, I sought new victims. Rita Klaber was next. I invited her to my trailer under the guise of drug use. When she resisted, I tried to subdue her, but she escaped, screaming and crying, to the police. Her actions marked the end of my spree. I confessed calmly, guiding the police to the burial sites of 10 victims. They found some decapitated heads but never all the remains, as I had scattered them in various locations. The number of my victims was estimated between 4 and 13, but evidence was found for only 2 murders. In 1997, I was sentenced to 50 years for kidnapping. In 1998, I received the death penalty for the murders of Kathy and Kimberly. However, in 2000, my death sentence was commuted to life imprisonment. On a Thursday in August 2017, I was found dead in my cell at the Western Correctional Institution at the age of 62. As you ponder this gruesome tale, remember my story before you bite into a street vendor's burger. It might be more than just meat between those buns. Let my dark legacy be a warning: sometimes, the real monster is hidden in plain sight.